These vegan brownies are incredibly delicious, very chewy. They are raw, which is not an intentional choice I made. I don't generally eat raw food, but they're just delicious. They do take a while to make, unlike most of the stuff that I make. And there is an actual ingredient list with quantities, but the quantities are approximate. I'll show it to you now, and you can either pause and write it down or memorize it instantly if you're one of those people. Okay, so in terms of the things that we need a bowl, salt, oats. I like quick oats because they're smaller and easier to eat. Cocoa powder, walnuts, which we will crush aggressively so you can get the halves and pieces, and some date paste. I get mine on an online store that rhymes with Agazon. When you get a pack of 6, they are actually very cheap compared to dates that you would get anywhere else in the world. And then if you have a blender, great, that'll make it easier. If you don't, you need a glass that's sturdy enough to smush walnuts with. Let me show you the process. All right then, here we go. We're gonna take 1 cup of cocoa powder, we're going to start by putting in the dates. We're going to take 1 cup of cocoa powder, okay. We'll take 1 cup of oats. I'm not going to put the measurement cup in the oats because it'll fill it with cocoa, which may not be a bad thing now that I think about it. But anyway, since it's all among friends, we're just going to pour it like this and not worry too much about the exact quantities. That looks like roughly a cup. Half a teaspoon of salt. We're gonna grind up 1 cup of walnuts. That's probably good enough. Especially with the stronger blenders, you want to be careful not to blend it for too long, otherwise it becomes walnut butter. Now, if you don't have a blender, you could be doing this on your own by doing something like this. I would do that as the first step in the process. You place the walnuts in the bowl. When the bowl is empty, it would be a whole cup of it, and then you just crush. And it really works. It works well enough. It adds a little bit of work, but it's not so bad. And this is good enough, this kind of size. So you can always pretend to have a mortar and pestle, basically. And we want about 1/2 cup of pieces of walnuts, which will be to add texture to those brownies. That's about right. So I'll just break it up into slightly smaller bits. We'll mix it all up. All right, it's time to release the dates. I just drop them in as a block. Each one of these packages is about 1 cup. And before my hands get very dirty, I'm gonna bring in something that I can use to put the finished brownies. Okay, at this point I just start mixing. There's a lot of massaging. I kind of coat it from all sides. And then it's just a lot of smushing and mixing. So you see, if you insist and you keep digging into it and breaking it up to discover new sticky spots, and then use those to soak up the rest of the, I don't know what to call it, the mix that we created before, you'll be able to use almost all of the mix. Yeah. And whatever's left behind you could use for next time or put it in your cereal or something. Okay, so at this point, once it's all mixed, all we have to do is shape the brownies however you want to make them. I like to make little bars. So I'll shape little bars. That's it. That's a brownie. You can chill it in the fridge or the freezer. It's nicer. It gets a nicer texture. But this is what I'm going to do with the rest of the dough, so you're welcome to stick around and watch, but that's basically the idea. At this point, you can decide how to shape it, and then shape it and put it away, and you're done. Enjoy the brownies, or stick around if you want to see a couple more possible shapes. So some people like to make balls. Balls are fun. This is going to bring into play all of your Play-Doh skills. This is how you make a ball. One of the more advanced shapes is probably a cube. But it really just depends on how rigorous you're going to be about the shape. There we go, cube-ish. Anyway, I like to make bars, so the rest of these are just going to be bars.